In the biggest no-dust statement of the year, Mark Zuckerberg has come out and said that censoring true information undermines trust. No kidding. In an interview with the Lex Fridman podcast, Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Meta, dived into the convoluted waters of content censorship and its consequences during the COVID-19 pandemic. During this time period, we found that true and accurate information about COVID-19 was being censored by big tech, and clearly that is a big issue. Who are they to be the arbiters of truth? The whole idea behind understanding what's out there is doing your own research. You need to be able to determine what is true and accurate yourself. And again, the media doesn't help in this matter. So they used to present the facts as is for you to go and draw your own conclusion. Now they're basically telling you what to believe, and that is the biggest issue, and it's being enforced by big tech. The Censorship Act. Navigating the tightrope of content censorship is really tricky, according to Zuckerberg. He highlighted a dilemma where content might be false, but it may not be harmful. So it's like, alright, are you going to censor someone for just being wrong, if there's no kind of harm implication for what they're doing? One of the biggest issues I have with censorship is that, well, quite frankly, lying is not illegal. Threatening somebody's life obviously is. And if it's legal, it should be allowed on social media, no matter how harmful you may think that it is. The issue here is that governments and corporations like Meta should not be the arbiters of truth, because if they are, well, maybe they might say that the truth is a lie and a lie is the truth, because we've never seen this before in history. Establishment pressures. In the early days of the pandemic, Zuckerberg recalls how the establishment was scrambling and gave platforms like Meta mixed signals. He elaborated. Just take some stuff around COVID earlier on in the pandemic, where there were health implications, but there hadn't been time to fully vet a bunch of scientific assumptions. And, unfortunately, I think a lot of the establishment on that kind of waffled on a bunch of facts. And Mark Zuckerberg is just as culpable in this. After all, he's the one who listened to the establishment and went and censored the truth, regardless of whether he knew it was or not. Looking back, the Meta CEO expressed concern about the establishment pushing platforms to enforce and censor information. Upon reflection, ended up being more debatable or true. It is very dangerous to let the establishment dictate what is true and what is not true. Let's take a look at Tiananmen Square in China. Oh, that's right. If you're in China and you look it up, nothing happened there. Nothing happened. China has done their damnedest to erase the Tiananmen Square incident from history. This is why the establishment should not be dictating what the truth is, because it will come out. Credibility at stake. The hasty calls for censorship based on unstudied data played a role in shaking the foundation of trust in the scientific community. It recently undermines trust, Zuckerberg pointed out. And my response to that is, no shit. Nuance in danger. Adding to the complexity, Zuckerberg concurred with Fridman on the possibility of depth and nuance in information being lost in the sea of content moderation directed by institutions and government. When it comes to this type of content moderation by the institutions, it makes it that much more easier to bury the truth. And when it comes out, it undermines not just the institutions itself, but our very foundation of our society, the government, truth, etc. This is the problem here. This is the reason why the government wanted to set up that misinformation governance board, because they want to be able to censor the truth. They want to be able to tell you what reality is, and therefore don't believe your lying eyes. And that is the problem. It's the reason why these institutions should not be complying with the government. It's the same thing for the media too. It's a huge issue. We need to be able to trust the information that is being provided to us. But the issue is we can't right now, and we must question everything. Remember, folks, freedom will always be on the right side of history. This is Ian, signing off.